Avatar: The Way of Water is the long-awaited, highly anticipated sequel to the 2009 phenomenon, with James Cameron returning to direct. If you haven't already, check out my bucket list video I did on the first Avatar so you know my thoughts coming into this one. Actually, scratch that. You don't even need to watch that video, because my thoughts on this movie are literally about the same as my thoughts on the first movie. It is the exact same goddamn movie, only 3 hours long and wet. Now, I want to be fair, so I'm going to start off with the positives. From a visual perspective, the film is fucking gorgeous. Someone in the comments in my first Avatar video got onto me for saying the effects in that movie held up for the time. They seemed to imply that I was using that as a backhanded compliment or something, and the effects in Avatar look better than some modern movies, which I honestly kind of agree with. I even responded to him predicting that the effects in Avatar 2 wouldn't look nearly as good as the first Avatar, and I was happily proven wrong. The world of Pandora looks so much better and more vibrant. The colors pop so much better, and the lighting looks incredible mixed with the motion capture. Even when they go to this other tribe, there are several scenes of them exploring the underwater world, and it looks so damn pretty. See, Disney, you can set a movie in an underwater environment without having to suck out all the color. The visual effects are upped as well, to a point where everything almost feels real. I already talked about the lighting and the environments, but even the characters look less CG than they did back in 2009. The cinematography is also really well done. I'm starting to look at James Cameron as less of a filmmaker and more of a film engineer. It seems like every project he works on is an excuse to create some new innovation in film technology, and that sentiment rings true here. There were several moments watching this movie where I was wondering how they got certain shots to look the way they did. I honest to God think a documentary about the making of this movie would be more interesting than the actual movie itself. I'll also say the acting is mostly fine. Sure, Sam Worthington is still Aussie-Americaning it up, but him and Zoe Saldana both give good performances. I'd probably give the scene stealer to the kid who played Spider, the human that lives with them. Acting with motion capture is hard, but acting opposite motion capture must be even harder, and he sold it in my opinion. With that said, the problems I have with this movie are pretty much the same as the last one. The story sucks. You know how we were all going at the first Avatar for copy-pasting its plot from other movies? Well, this one copy-pasted its plot from the first Avatar. They even find a way to resurrect the old villain from the first movie, Stephen Lang, in a Na'vi body. When that happened, I rolled my eyes and thought, okay, I guess we're doing this. Jake Sully has a family and is living peacefully in the forest of Pandora until the big bad military come back to enact their revenge. Yeah, they've ditched the whole mining for unobtainium thing now, it's just petty revenge. So Jake and his family flee to this other island civilization and has to learn their ways and adapt before gearing up to fight off the Sky People once again. It's practically beat for beat the same movie, only instead of saving the rainforest, they're saving the whales. Aside from the plot being pretty much the same with nothing interesting added, there are a lot of things about the story that just kind of got on my nerves. There are a lot of artificial conflicts in the movie. Scenes where a character will be in some sort of trouble or some sort of issue that doesn't really have any impact on the rest of the story. Jake's kids are kind of just there to be constantly put into some kind of peril, and it gets really annoying after a while. There's literally a scene in the climax where the kids are tied up by the Sky People, and then they escape only to get captured again like 5 seconds later. One of them even says, "I can't believe I got tied up again." There are also a lot of things in the movie that are set up but don't really go anywhere. They aren't really expanded upon, and they don't really serve a purpose to the rest of the story. There's one moment where these poachers are mining this whale's insides for some anti-aging MacGuffin fluid, but that's never really brought up again after that. There's also a subplot with Jake's eldest daughter, who, by the way, is an immaculate birth, because why the hell not, where she's trying to connect with her dead mom's spirit and figure out who her father is, but that also doesn't really go anywhere. The characters are the same planks of wood that they were in the first movie. The only one I was remotely interested in was, again, the kid Spider. It was actually one of the few times where Stephen Lang's character got to be more than just a mustache-twirling villain and have a bit of depth to him. The movie is also too goddamn long. There is no reason this movie needed to be 3 fucking hours. If this movie was tighter and more streamlined, I probably could have forgiven a lot of the issues I have with it, but at 3 hours, I was ready to go to bed. I know all these things I'm saying makes it sound like I hate this movie, but I really don't. Just based on the visual presentation and the technological advances alone, it would be ignorant for me to call this a bad movie. I just felt nothing for it by the end. Same as the first one. I saw it, it was pretty, I'm never gonna think about it again. I'm sure this movie will be successful, and I'm sure people are going to like it, but I don't think it's going to be the instant classic that the first movie was. Although for James Cameron's sake, considering the amount of time that's gone into it and the things that have been rumored about the next one, I kind of hope it is. But yeah, long story short, if you liked the first one, you'll probably like this movie. If you didn't like it, this probably won't change your mind. If you're just going for the visual spectacle, you'll get your money's worth, just don't expect anything deep in terms of the story. I'd give Avatar: The Way of Water a 3 out of 5.